Floristry is a two-player game in which we're going to create a floral display, and we're going to do it using a real-time auction mechanic. So you will need a phone with an app on it to do so. The app, of course, is for free. Now, it is technically only for two players, but we played it with four, so in teams, 2 and 2. We were alternating being the active player while the other player was giving suggestions, discussing strategy, and we found that it was very engaging that way also, so no problem to play with four in my opinion. Each player will receive a frame such as this one. Each player receives a starting tile from a bag full of nice wooden tiles, each representing combinations of flowers with 2 flowers per tile. Each receives a cat used to score points as a score marker, and then to set up round 1 we draw 4 random tiles from the bag, and that's it, we're good to go. Also, you want to place this player right here as a reminder of how things score. You place it in the middle of the table. Then somebody will need to have their phone with the app ready, and you place it in between the 2 players. So suppose that I'm orange and the other player is blue. To get started, each player will place their finger there. So this should be 2 different players in real. And when you're ready, you lift your finger. That starts a timer. Boom. I'll explain you what that does. Each round, the player starts with a value 5 written there. It goes down every, I believe, 3 seconds. Whoever presses it will stop the timer, as you can see. We'll also have to, you see that it says 3? We'll also have to pay the corresponding cost. And so, for example, I pay 3 money, and it's indicated there. Everybody starts with 30 money. So when I press there, when it said 3, I spend 3 money, my opponent spent nothing. What did I bid for? What was the privilege? The privilege of choosing 3 of the 4 tiles here and leaving 1 to my opponent. When you place the tiles, you need to place them adjacent to tiles that you already have. Touching at least one side, one corner is not enough. And you're trying to create groups that are as large as possible. Now, we go to the next. Boom. Oh, suppose blue really wanted that. They're gonna spend 5 for that. But now, what does blue want? 3 of these tiles, of course. And so since they won the bid there, because they tapped first right away, they got to collect these ones. They're kind of good for that player, I believe. Or not. We'll find out. You get the idea, but of course I'm overdoing it because I'm already trying to plan the strategy. Now, and for me, I'm left with this one here. Oh, look at that. I'll place it there because remember, I'm trying to have groups as large as possible. However, now the player has spent 5 and they're done at 25, now 27, and you continue like this. It's pretty simple, pretty quick. You continue like that for 10 rounds. At the end, you will have your floral display here, and then you score points. Scoring is super simple. For each group, for each type of flower, you look at the largest single group that you have. Here, for example, I will have right now 4 of this purple one, 3 of the blue one, but hopefully I'll have bigger group by the end of the game. If I have 3 to 5 of a certain flower, I score 1 point for that flower. 6 to 8, that many, and so on and so forth. And actually, so right now I will score 4 points for purple. Sorry, 1 point for purple and 1 point for blue, and nothing for the other 2. Also, remember, what was the point of the money? The differential. At the end of the game, you look at the differential between the wealthiest player and the poorest player, so the player who has saved the most, and the player who has saved the most scores points based on the same scale. So if at the end of the game, I have 6 money more than my opponent, I score 3 points for being parsimonious that way. And that's how you play the game. After 10 rounds, you will score your points. That way, for each flower plus the differential in money, the player or team with the most points wins the game. Floristry is really good. It's nice, light, simple. We played it as a palate cleanser after a cold, cerebral game like A Message from the Stars. This is like a heavy puzzle. And here, everything was intuitive and fun and fresh. The components are so nice and good looking. Very simple, but very nice and elegant. And just the fun of the real-time auction is just what we needed. But in general, even if you're not trying to recover from a heavy puzzle game, Floristry is a really nice little quick filler. Yes, you need to have your phone with you and use it for that, and that's and what can I say? Maybe that gives you less flexibility. Maybe if you're going camping, then this is not the ideal game for it. But in most cases, in most game events, you will have access to the kind of technology these days. And I would say this is an app-enhanced game done right. Because it wouldn't be all that easy to do the same, to achieve the same with analog means. And yeah, you have the fun and excitement of, well, bidding, but in real time. Now, it is also true that in some cases it'll simply be a matter of speed. You could replace that with those games where you're just trying to grab and be the first player to slam your hand or something, because some combinations of tiles that have been that came out are really good for both players, and then you just go to whoever is the fastest, and that's fun also. So there's an element of dexterity. In other cases, well, it's an element of, I'd like to save one more, but how much does my opponent want it? Also, there's the case of trying to do a little bit of a jerky motion, see if the other player can be tricked into spending more, into tapping right away. All these little cute little things that you can do, which really enhance what otherwise is a very simple, very linear domino style game, which is fine. Simple and linear is no problem. There is usually a room for it at game night. There's more room than a big, heavy complex, because a simple light game you can always squeeze into before, after, and between games, as opposed to the big thing you have to commit to it. So, nice little filler with a little cute, refreshing twist in the fact that there is real-time auction. The app is very simple to use, very intuitive, and ultimately, which is the most important thing, gameplay is intuitive, simple, quick, and fun. And again, my recommendation is try it as a team-based game, because it totally works that way with 4, no problem whatsoever. So I had a good time playing Floristry.